Okay, you find a house that you absolutely love. It looks great. The price seems to be reasonable. Okay, and it's in an area that you like as well. But then you notice something different. It's been sitting on the market for, I don't know, 87 days. And immediately you start wondering, what does everybody else know that I don't know? So before you run away from that house, I want to show you exactly what I would look at. First of all, I'm Jay Whitner with Whitner Realty here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I've spent more than 25 years around real estate, mortgages, investing. And this channel, I'm going to really help you understand real estate so you can make a better decision. That's my ultimate goal. And here's the first thing I want you to understand. Days on the market doesn't tell me whether a house is good or bad. What it does, it tells me I need to investigate why it hasn't sold. Because there could be a lot of reasons, you guys, why it hasn't. So let's start with probably the most obvious one, price. Let's say a house comes on the market for, I like that 400,000 range. But based on the condition, location, comparable sales, buyers really see it as a 365, 375 home. What happens? Buyers, they might just simply pass on it. The seller waits. Maybe they reduce the price a little bit and they wait some more. Maybe they reduce it again. Now that same house might finally be priced correctly. But here's what's interesting about that, you guys. Buyers can still look at those 60, 90 days on the market and they might say to themselves, something has to be wrong with that house. Maybe. But maybe the biggest thing that was wrong with it is that the original price was just too high. And that's why I don't want my buyers making a decision based on one number they see on Zillow or on another real estate website. I want you to look at the history. When was it listed? What was the original price of the home? And how many times has the price changed? Was it ever under contract? You can always ask. Did it come back on the market after a certain length of time? And if it did come back on the market, why? Why didn't it sell? See, that's where things start getting very, very interesting when you're looking at a home, because a house coming back on the market doesn't automatically mean there's something's wrong with either the home or anything else. Maybe the buyer's financing fell apart. Maybe the buyer changed their mind. Maybe there was an issue during the inspection that the buyer didn't know or the seller didn't want to pay. Maybe the appraisal created a problem. Or maybe something else happened during the transaction. I don't really want us to guess. I want to find out as much as reasonably possible. And that's where having an experienced agent like myself representing you starts to matter. Because when one of my buyers sends me a property, I'm not just looking at the pretty pictures. I'm looking behind the listing, you guys. I'm looking at everything, the whole picture. I want to understand what we're dealing with. And next time I'm looking at the condition, because see, sometimes a property looks really fantastic online. Then you walk through the front door and you realize the photographs didn't really do it any justice. Maybe it needs a roof that you couldn't see when you're looking at it. Maybe the HVAC system is old. Maybe there's deferred maintenance that wasn't taken care of. And maybe there's something about the layout buyers don't like. Maybe the house is actually in great condition. And that's why we investigate, you guys. And I'm also looking at the neighborhood, what's around, and the comparable sales, what they sold for. And that's extremely important, because here's something I really want my buyers to remember. The asking price is what the seller wants. That doesn't automatically make it the market value. And I want to know what similar homes have actually sold for in the area. And not just any house that happened to sell somewhere nearby. I'm looking for properties that are genuinely comparable, you guys. Comparables. Similar location, similar size, similar condition, similar features, and preferably recent sales. Now we can start developing a much better picture of what this house may actually be worth. And here's where a house that's been sitting for a while can sometimes become very interesting. Negotiating leverage. If a seller has been on the market or a property for 75 or 90 days, they may be more willing to have a conversation than they were during the first week or the second week. And maybe there's room on the price to negotiate. And, maybe there's opportunity to ask for closing costs help, or maybe there's repairs that could be negotiated. And maybe there's another term that's important to you or something else. But what I want to be very clear about is long days on the market doesn't automatically mean you should make a ridiculously low offer. That's not how I would approach it. Let's look at it like this. Say a house, again, started at $400,000 and it's been sitting for 80 days. They've reduced it to $370,000. If the comparable sales tell me the house is actually worth somewhere around $365,000 or $375,000, I'm not going to tell my client it's been sitting forever. Let's offer $300,000. We need a reason for the number we're offering. Negotiation isn't just about seeing how low you can go. It's about understanding where you have leverage and using that leverage intelligently. And there's one more thing that I really want you to know. What's motivating the seller? Now, we aren't always going to know everything about someone's personal situation, and we're not really entitled to know as the buyer. But sometimes there's dues that can't help us structure a better offer, or situations. Maybe the seller wants a quick closing. Maybe timing is more important than squeezing out every last dollar. Or maybe there's already movement going on, or maybe he's already left. Maybe they need additional time for closing for another reason. That's why pricing isn't the only thing that we negotiate in a real estate transaction. Terms matter, you guys. So let's kind of put all this together. You find a beautiful house. It's been sitting for 90 days. Should you really be worried? Not necessarily. Here's what I want you guys to really know first. Why hasn't it sold? Why did it originally cost or originally list for that price? Has there been a price reduction? Has it previously been under contract? What condition is it really in? What have the comparable homes actually sold for? Are there HOA or financing issues? That matters. And does the time on the market give my buyer any negotiating leverage? Then we make a decision. Not based on fear, not because we fell in love with the photographs, and not because somebody online said a house sitting for 90 days must really be a bad house. Don't listen to that. We make the decision based on information. And that's really what good representation should really be about. Helping you understand what you're buying before you make one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. So the next time you're scrolling through listings and you see a house that's been sitting for 60 or 90 or 120 days, don't automatically skip it. There might be a problem, but there might also be an opportunity for you guys to take advantage of. We just need to know the difference. I'm Jay Whitner with Whitner Realty here in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you think about buying a home in Charlotte or the surrounding area or anywhere in the country, call, text, or email me anytime. And if you really want to become a smarter buyer about buying and selling and investing in real estate, subscribe to my channel. We're going to keep breaking real estate down one decision at a time. And I'll see you on the next video with Whitner Realty. Thanks again and have a great day.